FullyRawKristina just uploaded a video where she's talking about why she has lost weight, what she has done to lose weight. I guess a lot of people have been saying that she looks like she lost weight and that she looks bad or something like that. And so she made this video saying that she wasn't trying to lose weight, but she has made a lot of changes, I guess, over the last several months or the last year that have led to her losing weight. Again, she wasn't trying to, she was just trying to be healthier. Things like doing HIIT training and intermittent fasting and sleeping more, managing her stress. Supposedly, all of these things together have led to her losing a little bit of weight. I don't care about any of that. That's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because there are a couple things that she says that are obviously false. Anyway, early in the video, she talks about her kind of journey with her weight, how her weight has changed throughout her raw food diet.
Everybody who's been following me a long time in this raw vegan journey, you've seen me when I was emaciated, when I first started my journey and I was sick and I was recovering from type 2 diabetes and illness. And then you saw me, 4 or 5 years ago when I was really dealing with a lot of emotional trauma and I'd put on some weight.
So she makes it sound as though she was underweight, she went raw, she got steadily healthier, she gained weight, several years ago, whatever. But that's not really what happened. We have video evidence of her being obviously underweight well into her raw journey. She's been raw for 14 years, according to her, so since 2005. This video is from 2011, so almost halfway into her raw journey. This one is from 2012. Obviously, she is still incredibly thin. I seriously doubt that this had anything to do with the supposed emaciation that she experienced 7 years earlier, prior to her going raw in the first place. And the fact this video exists makes me even more skeptical. She's obviously heavier here, not fat by any means, but healthy looking. You can see her arms, they don't have that super skinny, emaciated look. And yet this video is earlier than the other two. It's from 2010. So if she was emaciated prior to going raw, she clearly gained the weight at some point, by 2010 or during 2010, and then lost it again for a period of time. Clearly, she was underweight 7 years after going raw because she was not eating enough food. Clearly, her raw food diet of fruit and vegetables and a little bit of nuts and seeds was inadequate. She was not eating enough calories. And she's always done this, completely ignoring how sick she looked while raw years after she went raw. She only mentions being underweight when she was like 17, 18 prior to going raw. She does it in this video. She does it in this one. She even does it with these videos that are specifically about weight. When everyone was saying that she was fat, and obviously she wasn't, she needed to gain weight. It really sucks that she doesn't bring it up here because this would have been a perfect opportunity to talk about her weight struggles and why she got so thin on her diet on Fully Raw. And this pretty much ties into the second thing that she says that's obviously wrong.
And while this might come as a shock to most of you, my diet hasn't changed at all. Still a Fully Raw vegan.
But clearly going from this to this is a huge change. Like clearly she made changes to her diet, even if it was just calories. And yet never once does she say, yeah, several years into my raw journey, I was under eating. That was bad. I started eating more calories and I gained weight. But it's not just about calories. In this video from a few months ago, she says,
even though my physique has changed lately, I want to make a point that my diet hasn't changed at all. I'm still Fully Raw vegan, 14 years, no deprivation. I'm still doing green juices, smoothies, fruits, giant salads, basically everything on my app every day.
This may be true if she's comparing her diet to like the very recent past, but compared to her entire 14 years raw, compared to how she ate a few years ago, it's very different. In her first several years raw, she was clearly like hardcore 80-10-10, going by the recipes that she posted, going by the What I Ate Today videos, going by, the fact that she constantly talked about 80-10-10 and Doug Graham is very low fat, very low protein, no garlic, no onions, no salt, no mushroom teas, no protein powder. But now, and for like the past few years, it looks like she's been making recipes with garlic and onion and even salt. She has a whole video on, why she started incorporating salt into her diet. She promotes Four Sigmatic and their mushroom teas all of the time. She even just put out a recipe video where she uses nutritional yeast and olive oil. That's all small stuff. I mean, garlic and onion, who gives a shit? Although, they're healthy foods, but like, whatever. Other than adding salt into her diet, that's actually a pretty huge change. But an even bigger change, I think, has to do with fat.
I typically recommend no more than a small handful of nuts or seeds in your day, because a high-fat diet, whether you're eating raw or vegan or cooked, is not healthy.
But in recent videos, she's using way more than that in soups and in dressings for her salads. Compare that to her older videos where she often used no fat at all.
Another really great one that you can use in summertime is maybe even just to blend up a little bit of basil with mango and rosemary and just blend it in on top. You could even add a little bit of orange juice in there too.
But I think the biggest change that she's made has to do with protein. A lot of her what I ate todays and her recipes, if it's a smoothie or a smoothie bowl or even some kind of dessert, she almost always uses protein powder. This was not something that she consumed in her early years where she promoted, getting protein only from plants and not from supplements. If you look at her old smoothie recipes from her What I Ate Todays and from the recipe videos, she never uses protein powder. For someone like Kristina, who's mostly eating fruits and vegetables, this is a huge change. Even just one scoop of protein powder can make a huge difference. It can take her from not getting enough lysine to getting plenty of lysine. Don't get me wrong, I'm really, really happy about these changes. They're great. I'm glad that even though it's not a whole lot of stuff, she's clearly improved her diet over the years. And even the smaller stuff like garlic and onion and oil and nutritional yeast, it shows that she has relaxed her standards quite a bit. But it's not just about her, right? She makes content for public consumption. She makes stuff about her diet, for people to see. When has she ever talked about this? When has she ever talked about eating more fat, eating more protein? When has she ever talked about maybe what has changed about fat and protein for her? Maybe she doesn't believe that we don't need as much protein. Maybe she doesn't agree with herself anymore when she said that.
Even the World Health Organization suggests that 10% protein from your daily calories is adequate for our human body.
That seems to be the case. Otherwise, why would she be using protein powder? In this protein smoothie video from 3 years ago, she says that she doesn't like junking up on supplements, but that she's making the video because so many people asked for it. And then later on in the video, she says,
and adding in this protein will help your muscles rebuild and recover a lot faster.
It really sounds like she thinks protein powder is a good thing and is useful for raw vegans. And eating more fat. Maybe she just wants to eat more fat. Maybe she just feels the need to, or she just likes it. Again, I think these are kind of important things to address with her audience. People who are inspired by her and encouraged by her to eat a fully raw diet. Especially those who have bought her book. In her book, it is very much 80-10-10, low fat and low protein. She certainly doesn't use or promote protein powder in that book. The only thing she has admitted to changing, I already mentioned that briefly, is salt. She actually does have a video talking about why she started consuming salt again. She says it's because she started doing Bikram yoga. I think that's what it's called, the hot yoga where you're in like a sauna basically doing yoga and you end up sweating a whole lot. That's fine, but she never once admits that she was wrong. She used to believe that salt was bad for you. You don't eat salt. You can get all the sodium that you need from like celery, from fruits and vegetables. She never once says, yeah, I was wrong about that. She never once apologizes for misleading people. All she says is that she talked to some plant-based doctor. I forgot who it is. And he said that, yeah, like salt's fine. And she was like, oh, okay. But again, she never says that, oh, it's not like this is just a belief she had and she didn't share it with the world and promote it to people. That's exactly what she did. She should apologize for that because that can be really dangerous. Someone just eating fruits and vegetables and exercising a lot, which is what a lot of raw foodists do, right? They get really into the long distance running, which is what she used to do. Hyponatremia is a thing and it can kill you.
the type of salt that you consume is very important, because regular table salt can actually be detrimental to your health, but if you're consuming salt like Himalayan salt, like pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, that these salts actually have useful minerals in them that are good for your body. So iodine would be one of these minerals that is very useful.
Watching this video, her salt video, really reminded me of Freely Endurian Writer. For those who don't remember, initially they were 80-10-10 as well, all raw, no cooked foods. They said cooked foods were toxic until they started eating cooked foods again, right? But they didn't come out and say like, hey, we were wrong about that. Cooked potatoes are totally fine. We eat them now. Sorry. Instead, they were like, no, we just found that raw foods made us too lean. Like, raw foods are just so amazing that we got skinnier than we'd like. So we started eating cooked potatoes. I get it. No one wants to admit when they've been wrong, especially when acknowledging that means acknowledging that you gave out information to people that could have harmed them, that could have hurt their health. You know, telling people not to consume salt when they're living on fruits and vegetables and exercising. Telling people that eating very little protein and very little fat is perfectly fine. I get it, but it's very irresponsible. And I think not only the diet changes, but not acknowledging that she was underweight on her diet, the diet that according to her, she's eaten for her entire 14 years. So you can go back and watch, you know, her oldest What I Ate Today, and that's the diet, and that's the diet that she currently eats, and that's the diet that she recommends. Not acknowledging how skinny she used to be eating this way, I think it can make it seem as though this were just like a natural progression, right? This emaciation versus her emaciation prior to going raw was kind of like detoxing, right? It's just a natural progression. Like raw foodists will say, well, if you don't feel good months or even years after going raw, it's just, you're still detoxing, like keep with it, right? Or like when Kristina talked about losing her period for 4 years after going raw and saying that she thinks it was a good thing, that her body was healing.
I was still ovulating though, and that's how I know that my body was most likely in a stage of healing or cleansing or restoring or rebuilding somehow.
What? No. If you have some unexplained illness, if you lose your period, if you can't gain weight after some sort of diet change or just in general, something is wrong. Don't believe that it's just, oh, your body is doing some necessary healing or something. No, please go see a doctor. And always remember who you're getting this sort of information from. You know, Kristina has a vested interest in propagating this garbage, you know, that, oh, well, she lost her period, but it wasn't bad, guys. It was actually good, you know, right? Like, it benefits her to promote any possible negative thing as actually good, right? Because the diet is perfect and you need to believe that the diet is perfect. So you keep watching the videos and buy her book and her app. Also, you know, not explaining these changes to people and being like open about it and explicitly saying, yeah, I use protein powder because of this. I don't think it benefits her. I think it's in her self-interest to make some videos like that and explain it. Otherwise, I think it looks a little bit disingenuous, because the protein powder, the Sun Warrior protein powder, the 4 Sigmatic teas, they're almost, if not always, sponsored. Whenever she's promoting this stuff, she's getting paid for it. I mean, again, she still has like that protein video where she says you don't need much protein, just eat fruits and vegetables. You know, you can get it from Whole Foods. So then why would she be constantly using protein powder? Also, this is just about the video itself and about weight loss. Again, I don't care whether she's lost weight or not. But I do think the overall tone of the video, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable, because while she says she was never trying to lose weight and she never says that she needed to lose weight or anything like that, the whole video is about the positive changes that she's made in her life that have led to her weight loss, which implies that she needed to lose weight, right? That she needed to become healthier. And by doing so, she lost weight, implying that that was excess weight. it makes me a little uncomfortable because clearly she was already at a very lean weight before. Clearly she did not need to lose any weight. You know, I'm glad that she's like getting more sleep. Apparently she did not get much sleep before. That is like one of the worst things you can do for yourself. Sleep is very, very important. So that's great. And managing her stress too, you know, HIIT training, intermittent fasting, whatever. But yeah, there are some changes that she made that obviously have benefited her health. But I just wish she would have been a little bit more clear that clearly she was at a healthy weight before. She said something at the beginning of the video about not being able to please anyone because, you know, she was skinny and then she gained weight. And either way, people complained about her being too fat or being too skinny. And she's like, yeah, you can't please people. And I get that. Like, I even made a video years ago when she did gain weight and there was some awful 80-10-10 cult channel, you know, these couple of girls, I think. One of them made a video saying that, oh, Kristina's not at her ideal weight, you know, a real nice way of saying, oh, she's fat now, right? And I just made a video like, what is wrong with you? You know, you people, like, you say nothing when she is so obviously anorexic, like she's so obviously underweight and unhealthy. Nothing, not a peep. But as soon as she gains a few pounds and actually looks healthy, you're out here saying she's not at her ideal weight. Like, that is, wow, you're garbage. I didn't say it like that, actually. I was much nicer in the video, but man, that was so aggravating to me. You know, obviously I am no fan of Kristina's. I think her channel is absolutely terrible, but I would never, ever do something like that to anyone. That is so absolutely ridiculous. I mean, even in this video, you know, I don't like talking about people's weight at all. The only reason I'm talking about it is because it's really not cool that she's being so dishonest with people and not being upfront about just how underweight she was 7 years after being raw. You know, Kristina, Elise, a lot of these different kind of maybe spiritual raw food / health gurus, they constantly talk about positivity and good vibes and honesty. And it always makes me skeptical. You know, like, if you constantly have to say that you're really positive, you're so positive, and you're so honest, like, it makes me a little bit skeptical. And maybe I have a right to be, because clearly Kristina is not being truthful with her audience when it comes to her diet and when it comes to the amount of calories that she's eating. Constantly saying, my diet hasn't changed, my diet hasn't changed, my diet hasn't changed, guys. I don't think she's trying to convince us at that point. I think she's trying to convince herself. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, support the channel, patreon.com/unnaturalvegan, and I will have a new video hopefully soon. And I'm wearing my shirt again, as I already acknowledged. You can get it, teespring.com/something/unnaturalvegan. I still don't know what the URL is. I think it's /stores/unnatural-vegan, I think is what it is. That's what's tripping me up. YouTube has a little merchandise like shelf. You've probably seen it on some channels where you scroll down like below the description box and it'll have like their shirt and the price or whatever. They allow it for certain, you know, companies, Teespring and a few others, I think. And I activated mine, but they still don't show them. And I think it's because they have to approve the shirts. And I'm wondering if this one has not been approved. I don't have any notification that says that. It just says you don't have any merch, but it's obviously linked. So I'm wondering if that's what happened and it's just never going to show up because they're like, that's not appropriate, which I get. That's fine. I understand. 2 people so far have sent pictures of the shirts. They've gotten it and they sent pictures of themselves wearing it, which is awesome. That's really exciting. That was the thing that kept me from doing anything for a long time, is that like I have no control. You know, we can do the design, but from then on out, it's completely out of our control. You know, we're not printing these shirts, right? And we're not handling like customer service or refunds or anything like that. I don't like that. You know, I don't want to hand over that control because that's the stuff that's like really important. And if something goes wrong with the shirt, like it's just, there's nothing I can do about it. So I've been really anxious for people to let me know that they've gotten theirs and that like everything's okay. And of course you look at like any of these companies and they all have like terrible reviews. You know, it's like trying to find electronics on Amazon. You know, like every single one just has so many awful reviews of things not working and they've been sent 10 of them and none of them worked. Yeah, with any of these like screen printing, you know, t-shirt or whatever companies, there's so many people like, I never got my product. It was wrong. The shirts are terrible, you know, whatever. And then of course you have a lot of people saying, oh, it's great experience for me. I love being a customer. I love, you know, being a seller, creator, whatever. You know what I mean? Point is, I think I already have a stain on this. I've got like a couple little things here. It looks like maybe oil or something. Like, of course, this is why I wear dark t-shirts for the most part. And this isn't even like, I have kids and they're constantly getting things on me. No, I'm constantly getting things on me. It's cold as heck outside. It's all foggy and gross. Like, people say that you get used to this with Portland, but I think that's a goddamn lie. I think that's like what Memphians say. You know, like, oh, the summer's hot, but you get used to it. No, you don't. You never get used to it. That shit is garbage. It is so hot and humid and mosquitoes and the cicadas at night. It's gross and it's always gross. And I think it's the same here. Like, the winters are wet and windy and it's gross and I hate it and I'm always gonna hate it. And that's just life.
Sun warrior, 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 sun warrior chocolate protein powder.